Ever found yourself eating another slice of cake or making an impulse buy, only to regret it moments later? We all have those "what was I thinking" moments. Even small choices like picking a movie you don't want to watch can leave you puzzled. Our brains are wired in ways that can trip us up, making decision-making trickier than it seems. The good news? Understanding why we make these choices is the first step to making better ones. Let's dive into why we make confusing decisions, and how to do better. We've all been there, haven't we? That moment of realization, that sinking feeling when you look back at a choice you've made and cringe. If you're feeling embarrassed or even ashamed by some of your past choices, take heart, because you're definitely not alone. This is a universal human experience. Everyone in every walk of life struggles with making the right choices. From students facing the daunting pressure of exams and future career paths, to CEOs burdened with decisions that impact entire companies and their employees, nobody, regardless of their status or experience, is immune to the occasional bad call. Psychologists, through years of research and observation, have found that making what we perceive as bad choices is simply an unavoidable, intrinsic part of being human. It's woven into the fabric of our existence. Our brains, magnificent as they are, evolved primarily for survival in a very different world, not for navigating the complexities and endless options of today's modern world. Ancient humans needed to react fast to immediate threats. Decisions were often life or death, requiring split-second judgment. Now, those same deeply ingrained instincts, while sometimes helpful, can often mislead us in more nuanced situations. We all, at some point, fall for the same predictable mental traps, overvaluing what we already have, simply because it's ours, fearing loss, sometimes irrationally, even more than we desire gain, and letting our emotions, rather than logic, unduly guide our decisions. So, it's perfectly normal to feel frustrated, even disappointed by some of your own choices. But remember that everyone else, without exception, is fighting the very same inner battles and wrestling with similar dilemmas, even if they don't outwardly show it, or even admit it to themselves. The next time you find yourself wondering, perhaps in exasperation, "Why on earth did I do that?" Remember this simple truth: it's absolutely not just you. You're in good company. We're all just doing our very best, navigating a complex world with the wonderfully imperfect brains we've got. Deep within the intricate folds of your brain, a fascinating duality exists. It's a tale of two systems, constantly interacting, shaping your perceptions, and ultimately dictating the choices you make every single day. These two systems are the silent architects that shape every choice, from the mundane to the monumental. They influence how you react to a sudden surprise, how you navigate complex problems, and even how you form your opinions. The fast automatic system operates on instinct, relying on gut feelings and snap judgments. It's your brain's rapid response team, always on alert, ready to react in a split second. This system is great for simple, routine tasks, allowing you to navigate familiar situations with ease. However, its speed comes at a cost. It can sometimes miss crucial details, leading to oversights and errors. In contrast, the slow, logical system is a deliberate thinker. It meticulously weighs pros and cons, analyzes information, and considers all possible outcomes before arriving at a decision. This system is thorough and precise, but it demands significant mental effort and time. It's like a powerful engine that requires a lot of fuel to run. To conserve precious energy, your brain defaults to the fast system most of the time, letting it run the show on autopilot. This allows you to perform everyday tasks without expending excessive mental resources. However, when choices become complex, ambiguous, or emotionally charged, the fast system's shortcuts can backfire. In these situations, the fast system, driven by impulse and intuition, can lead us astray, causing us to make decisions we later regret. This is precisely when mistakes are most likely to happen, when our reliance on quick thinking overrides careful consideration. In some instances, your fast system reacts so swiftly that your slow system doesn't even have a chance to weigh in, leading to impulsive actions and knee-jerk reactions. But by becoming aware of this internal dynamic, you can learn to recognize the situations where slowing down and engaging your slow system is crucial. Understanding the interplay between these two systems provides valuable insights into the often unconscious processes that drive our choices and behaviors. Armed with this knowledge, you can cultivate self-awareness and learn to catch yourself before you rush into decisions, making more informed and thoughtful choices. Our brains love shortcuts. Psychologists call them heuristics. They help us make quick decisions but can also trip us up in modern life. For example, seeing a big sale sign can make you buy things you don't need. That's your brain using a shortcut. If it's on sale, it must be good. These shortcuts worked for our ancestors, but today they often lead us into traps. With so many choices, we rely on shortcuts more than ever, even when they don't serve us well. The trouble is, these shortcuts are invisible. We rarely notice them at work. But by learning about them, we can spot when they're leading us astray. That's how we start making better choices. Our brains, efficient as they are, often rely on mental shortcuts. These shortcuts, while usually helpful, can sometimes lead us astray. They manifest as biases, ingrained patterns of thinking that can subtly influence our decisions without us even realizing it. These biases aren't necessarily flaws, but rather quirks in how our minds process information. They are patterns that push us towards certain choices, sometimes steering us away from more rational or beneficial outcomes. Understanding these patterns is the first step in mitigating their influence. By recognizing these biases, we can begin to make more informed and deliberate choices. Let's look at some common examples, starting with the sunk cost fallacy. This is the tendency to continue investing in something just because you've already put time, effort, or money into it, like finishing a boring movie just because you paid for it. Even though you're not enjoying it, the thought of wasting the money keeps you glued to your seat. It's important to remember that the money is already spent, and leaving would actually save you valuable time and mental energy. Next, we have anchoring. This is letting the first price you see for a car, or any product, stick in your mind and influence your perception of its value. Even if the price is inflated, it becomes a reference point that shapes your subsequent negotiations and judgments. Being aware of anchoring can help you research fair market values and avoid overpaying. Then there's loss aversion. This is the powerful feeling of hating to lose things more than you enjoy gaining new ones. The pain of losing something often outweighs the pleasure of acquiring something of equal value. This can lead to irrational decisions, like holding on to a losing investment for too long, hoping it will eventually recover. Another common bias is the availability heuristic. This is overestimating risks after seeing dramatic news or easily recalled events. For example, you might become overly concerned about the risk of a plane crash after seeing news coverage of one, even though statistically, flying is still very safe. And of course, confirmation bias. This is the tendency of noticing only the news and information that matches your pre-existing opinions, while ignoring or dismissing anything that contradicts them. This can reinforce your beliefs even if they're not based on facts. Then there's the paradox of choice. This is the feeling of being overwhelmed and less satisfied when faced with too many options, like feeling overwhelmed by too many cereal brands at the grocery store. We also have the planning fallacy. This is the common mistake of thinking you'll finish a project in a day or underestimating the time required for a task, but never do. And the framing effect. This is how the way information is presented influences your perception. For example, 90% fat-free sounds better than 10% fat, even though they mean the same thing. There's also the status quo bias. This is the tendency of sticking with your old phone plan or any existing situation, even if there's a better one available. And the default effect, this is the tendency of leaving settings unchanged on your computer or any system, simply because they are the default options. We also have mental accounting. This is the habit of treating money differently depending on where it comes from, like splurging with bonus money but pinching pennies elsewhere. And social proof. This is the tendency to follow the crowd and do what others are doing, like picking a busy restaurant over an empty one, assuming it must be better. Finally, authority bias. This is the tendency to trust advice from someone in a position of authority, like trusting advice from someone in a suit, even if they're not necessarily an expert. Spotting these biases, recognizing them in your own thinking, helps you take back control of your decisions and make choices that are truly aligned with your goals. Modern life, especially social media, makes these biases stronger. Social proof is everywhere. If a post has lots of likes, we assume it's worth our attention. The halo effect makes us trust influencers just because they look good. Online shopping uses anchoring and framing to push us toward deals. The endless scroll feeds our recency bias, making the latest post seem most important. Algorithms fuel confirmation bias, showing us only what we already like. With so many choices online, the paradox of choice hits hard. Being aware of these tricks helps you pause and choose more wisely. So, how can you make better choices? Start by slowing down. When you notice yourself rushing, take a breath and let your logical side catch up. Ask, am I falling for a shortcut? Seek out new perspectives. Talk to a friend or read a different opinion to fight confirmation bias. Imagine how you'll feel about a decision in a week or a year. Limit your options when you can. Too many choices can overwhelm. Set simple rules like waiting a day before big purchases. Mistakes are normal. Everyone makes them. The more you know about your brain, the easier it is to spot your own biases. With practice, you can build better habits, one choice at a time.